Hey guys, welcome to Wakefield to Knottingley episode number 23. So today we're going to be looking at the area around Pontefract Monkhill, doing a bit of scenery work. We've not done scenery work in one of these episodes for a bit, so I feel like it's time we did a little bit of new stuff. So we're going to be probably cluttering this up with trackside bits and stuff like that are needed that we haven't already done. And just trying to get the sort of a station area looking a little bit more complete. So obviously the first thing you can see, and if you wanted to, obviously there's been a lot of updates in the last two episodes, so watch episode 21 and 22 if you haven't already, particularly number 21, because that'll go through a lot of stuff, including Leeds to Manchester and stuff like that. So before I start, if you haven't watched episode 21, guys, go and check it out, because that's got quite a lot of important information about the project and stuff like that and what's going on with it. So I'm just going to pull that grass up there, look. Do go and check that out if you haven't already. So as you can see here, we've got grass all over the track. It's kind of a bit of an issue, obviously, so that's going to need fixing. So the reason there's grass all over the track is quite simple. Is this area behind the station, I wanted to get the terrain up to the same height as the platform backing, because that's how it is in real life, that you walk straight obviously off a level onto there. Now obviously you can do it different ways. You can put car parks, you can put other bits of assets up here and stuff like that, but for me the easiest thing to do is to make the terrain higher in this instance, and then what I can do is put a tunnel decal over this area and make the terrain go invisible. Now I've got a bit of an issue over here, look, where it may need a bit more tweaking. So what I'm going to do first, before we do this, is I'm going to swap the track to the old style ballast. So it's called JT Concrete Old, and just because I want the track to have a consistent look through here, we can do that now, and we can make it the wide style as well. We should probably start that a little bit sooner there, look. Just where this cutter, this where this embankment ends here, is where we probably should start that. Now what we need to do is then we need to go do the crossover as well, because we've done the main line but we haven't done the crossover, so we need to go and do the crossover. Now your note hasn't changed, but if I press delete on that section there, it then changes, so that's how you do that. Again, track select tool, drag it across both tracks, and all I want to do is just swap this, because all tracks are in the same track rule, the JT Goo track rule. I can just go over there again with that, and then you'll notice again this is all left with the old style. Again, just delete the bits. Don't do what I just did there, which is move it as well as delete it. Delete the bits and then you can bring it back in as I just did then. So that's sorted. We've got the wide old style ballast in there. Now what we need to do is put decal in. I'm not sure about the terrain on this side over here. You can see where it's sort of over the edge of the ballast, and we don't want that. So that's something that I need to pay attention to. See if we can fix. So we want to go over here and we want to look for the JT tunnel occlusion is the one I'm going to look for. I can't remember exactly where it is at the minute. Maybe it's in the tunnel hole decal. There you are. So you can place this down. Now they are tricky to select, so you put it to the side of the track there, and we still can't select it. Look, as I said, they're very, very, very tricky to select these things. Probably going to have to delete some of this grass. Just move the track as well. Well done. Move some of this grass and then we can select it. This is why this should have been done before any scenery, to be honest. So I can see where the ballast is there, the end of it. What I'm going to do is just drag this. There's yellow corners on these black squares that I can drag across to where the end of the grass is cutting in, so that's there. And then drag it out this way. Now there may be odd occasions when TS won't load this tunnel decal. It should load it in theory, but the idea is that you should always load it. So obviously now in editor I can't see the track. If I press play, that tunnel decal will actually disappear. So press play, and there we go. So the grass has disappeared because that tunnel hole decal, what the tunnel hole decal does is it makes your terrain transparent, as if you're going into a tunnel hole to go through obviously through a tunnel. It thinks that is now a tunnel, basically, is what it thinks. It thinks the terrain is see-through. So there should be no places where we get any sort of weird flickering. We've got a bit here, look, so we do need to do a bit of work on this bit. So we'll see what we can do. See, it's a bit tricky because of the way it's been put together here. So what I'm trying to do is just trying to grab a piece or two. I got a 5 brush for selecting the point, and I'm looking for the point to select now under here. That might be enough there, but we've got to be careful now because we're going to end up seeing it on this side. Look, there, you can see it start to sap away, and this is going to very close to floating, but it isn't floating, which is the important thing. And what we're going to do is we can paint this terrain, so we won't notice that that's there necessarily in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint tools. I'm going to track ballast there, track ballast 3. Put on a small brush like a 12 size, and we can't really see what we're doing, to be honest. But you can sort of get the gist there, is that I've just painted it along that bit of terrain. I've just painted a bit over there by accident on the mountain side. And now you can't really tell. You can see, if you go really close up, you obviously can tell. But as people are driving the route, they're not going to be looking particularly at that, I don't think. You can't really see it. So we've got rid of that green mess that was all over the track. Now I'm just going to do visual checks to make sure everything else. There's a bit leaking there on the platform. And this road needs extending. But the main thing is, the key thing is, this road is not floating. So what this is the network access road. We need to finish some detailing on this. And then we'll probably work a bit on the car park as well. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to make that work yet. And we'll probably put some clutter on the station. The footbridge, as I said in episode 21, the footbridge is going to be a custom asset. The signage will be custom. The platforms will stay as they are because I'm not too concerned about them. They're more or less okay. The textures on top and stuff aren't 100% accurate, but I'm really not that fussed about it. We're doing it pre-2019 extension, so since 2019 they've extended this platform along here a bit, so we're doing it before that was actually done. It was based around 2018-ish sort of time. What we need to do is put this on a 5 brush again for the select tool and just drag it down so it snaps down there below the track height, below the platform height, and then just knock this lump out of this as well. We've got a lot of work that needs to go on this end here because there should be a road underneath, and there should be some other stuff as well. Actually, the road I'm really quite puzzled as to how I'm going to do it. To be honest, I haven't really thought that yet. In fact, we probably should be doing that. Well, maybe we should do that now. It's probably better to do off an episode, to be honest, because if I do it in an episode, it's going to be very boring for you to watch. So, first things first here. I've forgotten to put the music on, haven't I? Bad mark. At least I won't get copyright struck this time, although my playlist seems to be okay now, hopefully. So next up, we want to extend this road slightly forward a bit more. So you see it sort of ends somewhere here. I need to get a street view on in the background to see exactly where it does end. I think it drops down slightly actually. Although for us it won't do, it'll stay roughly level. But it actually ends about there, I guess. Trying to work out with street view where exactly it does end. And yeah, it does end roughly there. Let's just drag this down. And then what we need to do is this crash barrier here then needs to be extended along. So just like we've done there. This pavement then, I don't know why I stopped short actually with that, to be honest. For some reason I did. Pavement then needs obviously extended as well. So let's do that. And then we'll drop it down to a drop curb on the end of that again, just here. The road, I'm not sure whether I'll extend that yet. I'll decide in a minute. Just gonna go back and check that this isn't floating. It's really close to it, but it isn't. What I did do is I was putting this grass through the middle as well. So all I've done there is I've just made the grass asset really narrow and put it through the middle, so it looks like there's little lorry tracks behind the platform. Because the station area is really where the most detail needs to go in, obviously, because you're going to probably stop in here. And people are more likely to get out of the car and have a little look around, check out the detail. So I like the station areas to have a bit more feeling about them. So let's select that grass there, look. Copy and paste, Control C, Control V. Just your normal copy and paste buttons. And then put it down here. We're going to have some fun with this because it's going to encroach onto the pavement, so we can go onto the scale tool, knock off the padlock, so it gives us control over whether we want it on the X, Y or Z axis for the actual width of it. So we can just use the green one there to make it narrower. And there we go. So we've got the grass down the side of there, the little tree that's sort of planted, well not planted, it's grown there. And then I'm just going to have another look, for Christ's sake. Said that about 4 times. There's another bush somewhere to go in here. Let's have a look. You can't see it on Google, but there is on Street View, there is another little tree to go in. Maybe it's been knocked out in recent time. What am I doing? Maybe it's been chopped down in more recent times. We'll put it in because obviously 2018 is when the Street View was, and that's when it was there. So not a very big tree, just like a sapling almost. We'll put a maple bush in there. There we go. Right. So on the end of here, there should be a wooden gate, but I don't know if we've got a suitable wooden gate to put across. So let's see what we've got. It's a really old gate, actually. So that's the old Cujo one. I'm not using that. I'd rather use an incorrect gate than use a wooden one that doesn't look right. That one looks too farm-like for me, so I think I'm going to use one of the new JT ones that we've got. A farm gate style. This one. Looks more like you would expect there, and that is my golden rule when I'm doing this sort of thing, is if you haven't got the most accurate asset, so if you haven't got the exact thing, just use the thing that you've got that's best accurate, most realistic, that people will believe could be realistic. Because obviously, if you're really obsessive about the area, which I kind of am myself, but if you're really obsessive, you're like, oh, that's slightly the wrong gate you've put in there. But 99% of people really aren't going to care that the gate might be slightly different. I think if you're upset about stuff like that, you probably need to find something else to do with your life. So yeah. And gate has now been placed. The problem is it's see that it's ground gouging into the floor, so problems are happening. Trying to extend it upwards without making it look too obvious that I've extended it upwards is not going very well. We can get away with that, I think, but it's a bit of a tall boy now, isn't it? No, I'm not. Yeah, now I'm not quite so happy with that, but let's face it, when you're driving down it, you're not going to be looking over there to see if that gate's giant or not, are you? Obviously, if you watch this episode, you can go, oh, look, Matt, you got the gate that's giant. But I'm thinking here from a normal route building point of view. So, we've got the gate. I'm going to have to stop saying so. I'm going to like Tom when he does so, and then when he's checking assets, he goes like he's got a toffee in his mouth. Sorry, Tom, mate. I know you're watching this, mate. Sorry, mate. Kidding, mate. So, what we can do first, before we do any more detail there, and obviously we've not done any distant detail. We've got the Haribo factory. I want that custom, the Haribo factory, to be honest, but I'll probably put a placeholder in case I don't get one, because I'm not entirely certain I will get one, to be honest. I hope I do, but I'm not sure I will, to be honest. Let's see. Don't want to be looking at Midland Mainline. What am I doing? I think I'm working. We want some of these. We've got Metro signs that can go in here. Infopod G, that's the one. Yeah, that's the correct one. In real life there's 4 posters on it, but it's another one of those things like the gate comments a minute ago. The timetable does say Leeds to Sheffield on it. Maybe that's something I could look to go and actually take a photo of in real life when lockdown ends. So we've got the right timetable on there. Again, that's a minor detail, but then I suppose it is a detail that could be improved upon. Have we got any others that are suitable? Leeds to Sheffield again. These are the ones that I took at Kirkgate, I think. Leeds to Sheffield. They've got generic ones as well. Oh, what's this? Could we cover it with this? Not sure where this one came from. This one might have come from Wakefield Kirkgate as well, to be honest. That one's still got a VP logo on it. We'll obviously have to take that off. Leeds, that's a map. We've already got a map on there. Look at the Metro map on there. So I'm not worried about that for now. We'll come to that when we come to it. There's another sign to go on the right hand side. There's a big Metro sign that goes here that we'll put in. There's a sign that can go on the platform on the... I'm trying to see what it is. I think it's a general sort of map about the area. And there is a sign there. Obviously, lockdown and everything, I've not been able to actually visit Monkhill myself to get the research photos, so we're sort of just putting in stuff that we've got in our library at the moment. I think it's going to be better off. Have we got that one? That'll do, I think. So all I'm doing is just trying to make sure that it's straight. It's a two-sided sign, obviously, so that's a bit of an issue because it's going to point through the bloody back of it. And then there is a tourist sign there as well, which we don't actually have. But once again, I'm not overly fussed about it. So we've got another sign. There's actually a Grand Central sign over here. I think I'm going to have to go and visit and get some pictures of these signs, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and visit to take some pictures of signs. But anyway, we'll place this one over here for now. Yeah, you can see through the back of it as well. Yeah. We'll sort something out for that. Not to worry. For now, they can go in as placeholders. If it released with those in it, I wouldn't be too concerned. It'd be not ideal, but it'd be one of them things, wouldn't it? End of the day. Let's see what we've got in our selection of things. See if we've got it suitable to go. What's these info signs? They're the ones from Normanton Station that we've got on the bridge and stuff. We've got the Wakefield Kirkgate signage. Waddlesford signage. Footbridge B. Didn't know what that was then. What's the have you paid sign? It's just a little thing. Look at the benches and stuff. We'll place those in a minute. There is what I'm looking for is there's a departure board that goes just there, but I can't see anything of it. Anyway, unless there's anything in this section, which I don't think there is. No, that's Greenfield Station. That's not going to belong here, is it? Metal benches. Yeah, well, maybe we can get one of those made as well. Again, it's all getting a little bit lost in wood sort of thing at this point, if you're worrying too much about that sort of thing. I'm just looking actually at where the platform ends in this shot. Whether I've got something moved a bit too far up or what. I think the platform should end actually here somewhere. And the footbridge, I should have known that. Bad mark. The footbridge is on like its own little plinth. So the steps of the footbridge are at the top of the ramp. So if I cut the ramp back with the cut tool, let's see if this works. Oh, no, that's not what that definitely didn't work, did it? So we'll probably have to put an invisible platform in, guys, because you see, look, the yellow dots have disappeared. So that means this is no longer a platform that'll spawn passengers. But the idea is now that the steps are on the end of the ramp there, which is what they are in real life, and then I need to put a concrete plinth in. Look at what the mess we've got here now, though. Yeah, we've got a bit of a situation here. You know what? Oh, I can't, can I? Inclined to clean that up a bit and just leave it as it was. Now I think about it, but a bit late for that now. I'll do this off episode, because if I do it now, I'll be doing it for 20 minutes trying to clean that mess up, and it's going to take forever. There'll just be a break in the recording, guys, because I just need to actually go downstairs and sort some stuff out. So just excuse this break. Right, sorry for the break in recording there, guys. I've actually basically forgotten what I was doing now, which is pretty useless. So I think we were doing clutter, weren't we? So let's stop talking garbage and get on with it. So I need to look at photos now and see what we've got. We've got a junction box that needs to go on the platform just behind this fence. My head's I'm completely in the wrong space at the moment. Let's get one of the line side cabinets. Helps if I'm looking in the right part of the asset list normally, you know. Does help to do that. There we go, we've got one here. So that'll do the trick. Just place that behind the fence in its real life location. Now there's a way out platform sign which we don't have at the moment. There is a salt bin as well that goes just here. The JT one did get resized just before Dabbing and Leicester came out, so the JT one now is not huge like it used to be. It's more of an accurate sort of size, thankfully. That's not the one. What's the actual thing called? Is it in the MML assets actually, maybe? We'll find this at some point here. End up going for all the DNL assets here. I've got a shot. I'm sure it's around somewhere. We've got one of the DTG routes maybe that we can use. No, apparently not. Apparently we've completely lost the salt bin. You know, we'll just put the old JT one in for now, and then I'll eventually I will come across the new one. Put that one in for now, and then we'll swap a new, better one in afterwards. I'm very keen not to, when I'm doing episodes, go faffing about the asset list for 20 minutes, so you guys just see me in the asset list. Because that's not the idea of doing these episodes, is so I actually get some stuff built, which is why it's so hard to end up actually doing them, because of the amount of time it takes. So we got generic. We need the little bin that goes on here. I swear this stuff got added to the common library. Now there we are, station bin round. So there's a little bin as well, and that goes to the right of this cabinet, and then there's a bench as well that needs to go on the end. So we'll just move the cabinet up a bit, then put this on the fence there. Obviously it will catch through a bit, but that's just the way it is. Not really much you can do about that. So now we need to get in the first of the benches, and that'll be in station list actually. Which style is it? We've got 3 styles at the moment. It's style A that we need. So we've got style B and style C, which is the ones from Wakefield Kirkgate. Style A is the one we're looking for. And that just goes on the end of the fence there. There we go. Just make sure the legs aren't floating there is what I was doing. Right. So, then behind that, I've got to stop saying so. So we've got another one of these boards that actually sits directly behind that one, which we'll put here. Again, I would like to actually get the real ones put in if I can, but I'm not too fussed otherwise. Because the amount of people that are actually going to go and read exactly what that sign says on it is minimal. There's another cabinet then, just past that, then there's another bin. And then there's some little phone thing which we don't have. Which obviously would be sensible to have at some point. We'll see. I do like to make sure the stations have as much clutter on them as possible because they are really the focal points of the route, obviously. But at the same time, obviously conscious that it's a freeware route and that freeware is never going to be like payware because you don't have the financial input there to expect people to sit down and be working for hours and hours and hours. That's why you pay for payware routes. If you get that sort of thing from a freeware route, then you're very, very lucky that the person is willing to put in that much time and effort to do it for nothing, because most people won't. Obviously we're building the route for nothing, but most asset developers will do it professionally because it's a very rare skill to have, to be able to do it very, to be able to do it to a very high standard. Now these are actually double lamps in real life, but there's a colour issue going on with that, so I'll just have to have single lamps. I'll face it that way. Like so. And I need to find a couple more photos now actually. So what I'm doing at the moment is just looking for photos, and I'm also looking at the cab ad, but every time I put the cab ad on, it's supposed to go to an advert. Then I have to wait like 10 seconds for it to come off the advert. There's a destination board actually that he's putting in. And there is also a platform 1 side, but I'm not entirely sure if we've got that right now. So yeah, there's a departure board just here, which I'm going to add now. So best one of those that we've got really, or that I believe we've got, is the JT one, which is actually really old, but it's the most generic-y sort of one that we've got. So shove that in there. It's actually not that tall. Sort of comes about there. So that's added in. Just going to carry the video on a bit more. So inside the shelter there should be some of those Metro Bench Bs. So that's these little ones that you just sort of sit on. We know back on. Because it's Ponty, and why would the Mechfin's nice to sit on? Ponte Carlo. Monte Carlo and Las Vegas. Two wonderful places that everybody must visit in their lives. Right, there you go. So we got the benches in there now. That's the basic look of this part of the platform done. Then further down, we've got actually on that photo a more modern bench, but this is the cabaret I'm looking at is after the extension of the platform, so it's pretty much pointless looking at it actually, to be honest. I need to find some better photos that show that far end of the platform. Maybe another break in the video in a sec. Just why... oh, there we are, I found one. Yeah, so they've done the extension of the platform, they put bike stuff down the end, but actually when we're basing the view, there wasn't anything like that. There was some lamps, which have moved as well since they've extended the platform. There was 2 lamps down the end. So they need to go in. See where they actually are. That's an extension actually, that bit. So I need to knock some off the platform at this end by the looks as well. Now that really does pose a bit more of a problem. Let's have a look here what we're going to do. Where that platform goes inset there is where the actual platform should end. Oh, it's brought it back to being an invisible platform. That's one plus side. If there is a plus side in all this. Faffing about. Right, let's go down here. That looks more like it. Thought something looked off and that's what it was. I'd extended the platform too much. In real life it has extended down there, but the inset bit is the extension bit and I'd put it on by accident. So let's lower this fence in here. So you're getting live cock-ups on the episodes here now, guys, as we always said. Any cock-ups like that will get left in, so wallow in it. Right, gonna fill this gap in fence. We've got 5 metre sections, 2.5 metre sections and 10 metre sections. I'm hoping a 5 metre is gonna fit in there. Not quite. It's a pain. Might have to move them up a bit, so make the gap in the fence further back a little bit bigger. Right, so we need to go onto this. Select the arrow. Trying to make it so the thing lines up properly with the rest of it. Need to delete this extra bit that's down here now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the rest of this stuff this way a bit so it comes towards the end. This is why noticing these issues when you've already done the thing is a massive issue. Because I've got to move everything, whereas if I just noticed the platform was too long right at the start, I wouldn't have had this problem, obviously. So now the gap's obviously a bigger gap. We're going to move these metro boards a little bit more to the left. Overall, it's not too. It doesn't look bad at all, though. It's still reasonable. The big issue we've got is going to be this mess down here with this decal that I put in, because somewhere it's going to have a cut in it, I would imagine. There, look, you can see. But because we've got this road here, we should, in theory, be able to drag it across. Hopefully, maybe. Actually, the ballast won't be wide enough. Thinking about it. Maybe if we try and bring it down to track level, because at this point We don't need the terrain to be that high, so we could probably bring this down like so to track level. So you got this road sort of floating now. We can try, because the ramp obviously on the road now is going to be the wrong place as well. And the grass is now all floating. Yeah, we've opened a right can of worms here. So I had a moment yesterday evening when I thought the signal was too far as well, and it actually, obviously, it wasn't. Now, as I do this now, it was actually in the right place. It was me that had left the platform in the wrong place. So all that work I'd put into getting this grass perfect, straight down the toilet. Join us on episode 23, where Mark will just rip the same bit up and put it back in again. Right, let's see how that looks. Let's go in play mode and have a quick gander at that and see how it's shaping up. So look, we've still got the problem there because we've got the decal in. What actually is this terrain doing here? It's that bit, isn't it, there? We don't need it to be high, you see, so we can lower that, it doesn't matter. It's just there where it's still floating a bit. But it's knowing which bit to grab. Especially when I can't actually see which bit to grab because it's below the decal that I've put in. Because I'm clever. There we go. So we pulled it this time. I think we might have done it this time, guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've sorted that out. So we've got grass through the station platform still, but that's not a problem really. Just put it back this way to there. The wall doesn't need lowering, but the crash barrier certainly does. Damn it, I had everything perfect there. So that's really soured my afternoon, that has. So happy with how the approach road, the little access road looked. It was the one bit that was actually looking pretty good. Well, I suppose it actually looks better now because it's sort of a bit more bumpy. In real life, they would be a bit more bumpy, so I'm not too bothered. There. That's better. I thought something was off there, but I wasn't sure what. I'm just glad that we found out what it was. And before we got the rest of the clutter in as well. Right, let's pull that fence up there. Fix the gradient on it as well. The idea is try not to have these bits poking through the bottom of the platform as well. Right, so we've got the shelter in. Then we need 2 lamps further down the end. So we'll grab this one, just copy and paste it. The first one, it's hard to tell exactly where they are. The first one's by a junction box, which I can see on the map. It's there, look. Bear in mind again, the map's more up to date than the real life thing. I'm looking at photos from the period we're making the route. That's got to be known because obviously there's stuff that's been added in since then. Right. And then there's one near the end as well, looking at the photo. There's also a station sign, but we haven't got the station sign yet, so we can't put it in. Once we get the station signs, obviously I'll just drop them in as well. There we go. So we've got both, like, all the lamps on that side. We need to put in a do not pass this point sign. And I believe we've got one of those in the JTCL. This is where I'll no doubt go into the JTCL and not be able to find it. Passengers must not pass this point sign. There we are. There's a weathered one. Yeah, that's the one. Ah, yes. Thanks to Will for making it really hard to select. Always good when Will does that. Tom gets very upset. So move that over here. There's something with the selection point on it where it's like miles off, but be right. And then there's a... trying to see if there's any metal posts in any of these other add-ons, or if I need to use the JT ones, which are really old and I don't like, but... yeah, we're going to have to use the JT one. So the JT just... common library just has random metal poles that you can use, like that one. And the sign, it should be right over by the fence, actually. Right over here. There we go. So we got the do not pass this point sign on the platform now as well. Next up, we need to worry about the other side. Although there is actually a speed sign that I want to put in, which is really cool in real life. It was properly like bent over on its side, so quite a cool look to it. I want to put that in. Well, I've actually seen the photo, so I don't forget. Oh, I wonder if DC. I wonder if down here there's one of those. Ah, signpost. There we go. It's better textures than the JT one. We really need a new one in the common library. Maybe I'll see about that for next few weeks. The GSMR signs. Car stop markers. We don't need any of that stuff right now. What we do need is the cut out speed boards. Now there's some that are 2D and some that are 3D. They're 2D. I'm just wondering if it's the Southampton to Bournemouth ones. There's different ones that DTG have done, and some are better than others. Not that one. I know there's a freeware pad that Benedict's doing that's coming out. There's got better ones in it, so we'll just go with one of these for now, I think. Or is it North London line that's got the 3D one in, actually? Might be North London line that's got the best of these ones in. Yeah, it is. So there should be a little sign, a 50 sign, just past that ground signal that's there. So about here somewhere. It's where the 50 limit restarts, because it's 30 even on the main line. It's not 60, that's for sure. So what we need to do here is reset that speed limit. Just save the progress that we've made there, because we've not saved for a while, so be sensible to do that. Give this episode about another 10 minutes or so. I should be able to get clutter on both platforms done in that time. So what we need to do here is go press spacebar. If you want to see about track properties, by the way, guys, watch the track properties episode. Was it about 18 or something like that? We focused heavily on track properties in that episode. So you got the limit is 50. On the main lines, but then it drops to 30 just before that crossover, and I'm currently just trying to get hold of my cab ride because I want to make sure I put the signs in exactly the right spot. So just have to bear with me a minute there, guys, because what we're trying to do is make sure obviously the signage is in the correct place. So it'd be a bit stupid to put it in the wrong place. And the signs I'll be using are the ones from the 4 Aspect Simulation Pack, the one that's released on Synx's stuff website, Synx's workshop. I got a feeling the 30 sign is not actually in place. Just having a look at the cab ride. So next episode, what we'll probably be doing is some of the trackside clutter around this bit, so like cable trough and stuff like that. Oh, that's fun then. So that's going to go down well on the when the route comes out. The 30 board is actually missing on the main line. So I've just watched the cab ride from Tanshelf to here. The train slows down to 30, as it should do because the limit is 30. But there isn't actually a 30 sign, which is not unknown. There is other places in the UK where there's sometimes signs missing and stuff. But I can see that causing all sorts of fun and games. What I'll try and do is I'll bury a sign below the track. Whether it'll work or not, because sometimes they don't, is another matter. So it's 50 to there. 50. Not 5 hyphen. And then move track even, not 250, make track evenness 25. There we go. So what we need to do now is select this bit, both lines. We need to see where the 30 limit ends as well, obviously. It should be just after the station where the 30 limit ends. Still never really worked out why it's 30, to be honest. The 50 actually starts again before the platform, doesn't it? Because I've been yabbering on about that for the last 5 minutes. So again, the 30 limit, I think the sign actually might be missing on the main line once again, in both directions, but it is 30. I've been there and witnessed it myself when they've gone through at 30. And so I know for a fact it's definitely 30 on the main line, and the sectional appendix shows it's 30 as well. Oh, there's the board. There is a board in the other direction, there isn't one in this direction, so it's obviously been a cut-out sign that's gone at some point. So the track towards Knottingley is 30 just to about here. We're going to make the track a bit more uneven over these points as well in a minute, guys. So we've got the speed there, primary and freight, both limits 30 mile an hour. Then what we want to do, can't really see what I'm doing, but extend it a bit further so it's 30 to there. So that's a 25. Right. Then this one has to be 30 right through, as I said. I'm not going to put a speed limit on that little tiny crossover, a bit of point work there because there's no point. So this one's 30 and there's a road bridge somewhere here where it turns back to 50. There it is. So it's 30 all the way from that road bridge right through to the other side of the station. Explains why when I've been to Monkhill, you don't get much thrash when you're doing videos there, and that explains why. Right. So extend the... This is where the 50 is again. And we'll just do the speed limit to there for now. So what we can do is we can do a bit of a refresh on the unevenness side of things in a sec. But we've got the speed limit here on the curve as well. So what we can do is set the speed limit here, but drag the select tool across both tracks. Drag it around the corner. And again, watch some of the earlier episodes, guys, if you really wanted to see how this is done. Obviously, we're 23 episodes in, so we kind of skip across how exactly we do the select tool and stuff like that. If you want to see that sort of thing, guys, make sure you check out the first few episodes. We focus on track line for like 5 episodes. This is really hard to control. Just trying to pull it back. There we go. So we pulled them both down here. We'll just do it to there, 30 limit. We'll make that one a bit more uneven because it is quite uneven on that curve. Okay, so whilst I'm on about unevenness and stuff like that, so how does unevenness work? So unevenness is what happens when the train's going along and you want to add sort of fake cab movement. So let's say when you're on a real train and you go over a phasing set of points, you'll see feel movement in the coaches and stuff. In TS, obviously a lot of it don't feature that really, when they should. So what we can do is we can select the track. And for that little point there, between those 2 points, we can set it to 60. Now I might reduce that at some point, but that'll give the train a nice jolt as it's coming through over this really busy crossover. And I'll not do it quite as much in the other direction, because it's not crossing over that main crossover. But I will do it to 40. And then obviously this bit, as you're coming around this curve, should be really quite rough, especially on the right hand track. So the right hand track, let's make that really sort of rough. Let's make it, shall we say 65? I think 65 is a good number. So you should get a good bounce as you're going across there, especially if you're on a pacer. Imagine that in real life, what it was like. Good fun. And then this one, it's not too bad because you just come and join the track there, so set it to 40. So that's all we've done there, we're just set on evenness. So when we drive across that in a train now, you'll see the car bounce around a little bit. Obviously at 30 mile an hour you won't really see it bouncing that much, but you will see it. So we've got the speed board that we're putting. Let's move that so it's in the 50. So that arrow there is where the speed limit starts. And then the sign reads what that is getting told from the track. So we've obviously set that to 50. That link from the sign needs to be put within the green zone, which is the 50. And that's why you've got to press spacebar a couple of times to make sure you're on the speed window so you know where to put your signs. And then that'll appear on the F3 HUD as 50 mile an hour. When I press play, it'll change. It should change to 50 when I go into play mode. It's not changed yet because I'm not in play mode. So bearing that in mind is if you put a sign and then change it after, it won't change until you go in play mode. So this has got a real lean on it in real life. It's like that almost. In fact, it's actually even more extreme than that. I'm going to make it so it's leaning back a bit as well. So it's not just literally horizontal lean. Not quite that bad. It's quite a small sign as well. There. Don't want it to look like it's impossible for it to be at that angle. It's obviously fallen back and then it's sort of sat on its post sort of thing. How many minutes are we into the episode? Yeah, we have about 40 minutes in, so I'll wrap this up in a few minutes. It hasn't changed to 50, it will do when I go out to the menu and stuff. It won't do it just yet. Right, let's do platform 2, clutter. So I can see on the far end there's another one of those. Obviously this sign again is on the far end, so let's grab the sign. Oh, for God's sake. Got to go behind it to select it. Then we need to drag it across here. We'll have to lift it up as well, because in real life this is where it is. Yep, I recognise the shot. Again, the footbridge is going to get a custom model, so ignore that for now. It's just a placeholder, so that I can get the feeling for the place. And near the end, there is a lamp. So just copy and paste one of these from this side, and we'll move it over. And there's also a bench as well then. And obviously inside the shelter there'll be some benches, so we just copy and paste again the bench from that side and bring it over here. This is so we don't have to go faffing about in the list. We know what we want. It's on the other side, so we just bring it over. Check the height of the lamp. Not putting any night lighting in yet, so we've not got the actual bulbs. We'll do night lighting probably on its own right near the end of the root building, to be honest. I normally do the night lighting right at the end, and I normally like to focus on it in one job so everything's consistent on all the stations. And you can go to a great detail trying to get that sort of sorted out. Because if you get it wrong, your route will look pants at nights and, you know, only drivable in day then. And 90% of people probably do drive in the day. But I really like driving at night on a good night route, so I'm just going to put one bench in there and bring it into the centre of it because 2 is not going to fit. So centralise it. So it's behind the screen, obviously. There we go. Tom's sister's here again, look. Right, time to have a look at some more photos. So I'll be back onto this in a sec. I need to add a platform 1 and 2 sign as well to this, just yet. There's a departure board again right next to the shelter, so that's this one. Just copy and paste that over from that side to here. Drag it away a little bit. Obviously we need to get all the foliage behind before it starts looking decent. Right, you got another lamp then just past the shelter. So that's just about here somewhere. Pontefract Monkhill, let's have a look at 2014 photos. Obviously, you unfortunately can't see this bit. Now, as of 2014, they'd actually added some extra benches to the station as well, which looks a bit odd, to be honest, what they did. So they had the lamp needs to be a little bit further that way, actually. So this lamp needs to go a little bit more towards the end, somewhere. There's a sign fits between the lamp and the sign, and the sign at the end. So if I want to say the lamp needs to go there, make sure it's exactly aligned to the track. And then this bench was in the middle. Then they had a more modern bench between, so that's one of the ones that we've got made for Kergate. One of these ones. So they had one of these in the middle, and then they had another one of the really old ones next to it, and then on the other side they had on the right hand side they had a more modern one as well. Bit weird, but just obviously trying to cram as much seating as I can, I guess, for the Grand Central passengers. Because Grand Central, their Bradford King's Cross service calls at Monkhill. So it all needs moving up still a bit more because we've got to fit another one of those old ones on. These older ones have probably been here quite a long time. There we go. So as of 2015 there was another couple of benches on the other side as well. In fact it had all moved around quite a bit. So this junction box is now over here. The grit bin's also over there. There's a sign, like a bit like this one, on the fence side, and that is to the right of the grit bin. So the grit bin needs to move up a bit more, and the sign needs to go there, as you can see. And then there's a lamp right at the bottom of the footbridge as well. And then obviously we're going to have the main signage, which we don't have just yet. There's another style lamp to go on the back of there, which I haven't got right now, so I'll do that afterwards. So then this should have 2 modern benches rather than this old style one. It should be 2 of this style to the sides of the bin. So either side of the bin there should be one of these styles of benches. The modern style. You need to make sure again that that's set correctly to the fence line in terms of its orientation. See, the shelter's not quite actually straight there. And this is really obsessive stuff that nobody's really going to notice, but might as well try and do it right if you can. I hate it when you go on a station and you see that they're all out of line like badly. Obviously minor, there's not really a problem. So around the back of that shelter on the platform 2 side, we do need to still add some extra assets in. Now whether I can actually find those quickly or not, there's plenty of photos around, but finding them and sort of cross-referencing it is what causes these mistakes on the videos, because you're trying to do it a little bit quicker than normally I would. I'm searching through the years at Pontefract Monkhill, and what I'm searching on is Flickr. Flickr's a fantastic resource for photos. If you've not been on it before, it really is useful if you're doing your route building. It's my number one go-to when it comes to assets, when it comes to route building for reference photos. There are other places, but just everything's so neatly together sort of on Flickr. Right, I'm going to have to do this off episode because I can't find any decent photos right now. But you get the idea, guys. We're getting progress. We're not there yet. We've got a lot of stuff still to do. That sign's still the wrong sign, but it'll fix itself. So in episode 24, we'll focus on the clutter in this area. So cable troughing, speed signs, stuff like that. Just to try and complete this little scene. Cheers again for watching, guys. Any questions that you've got, if you'd like us to cover something that we can cover, then do ask in the comments. And we'll try to, if we haven't already done it, or if we can do it, we'll do it. And cheers for watching, guys. Don't forget, you can check Tom out. He's normally on Twitch various days, quite regularly. Twitch.tv/TrainSim_TV. Please do consider subscribing. We appreciate your support as always. And hit that like button as well. As when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get a notification when we upload new content. Cheers for watching, guys. Thanks very much. See you later.